talking all things organization and consistency again for your business, sharing apps with you how to work your business as a social seller, especially when you're still in the career field, working how to still show up for your business for your ideal clients was what I'm talking about. If that's an interest, keep watching. Hello, Kristeena Torres, all the way in hot AZ. I'm a school counselor returning to work on Monday. I'm also in the online space helping moms grow their confidence, really to have that courage to step forward and finding themselves again, showing the products that have helped me. So drop a hello if you are live, say where you're tuning in from, hashtag later if you're watching on the replay. If you're watching live, in order for me to see who's commenting, please put give StreamYard access. And I just want to make sure this video is showing. I went live really quick and I lost my train of thought of my headline. So I'm like, I gotta go fix it. So I just like to change the settings in here. I don't know why StreamYard doesn't let me. So, oh, I think, hey, Anna, how are you? Okay, so I just got off a Zoom call with one of my coaches, Ashley, she is my whole, all things, how I've converted my business through um, automation through email marketing, automation through my blog, and creating my own course is in my next week work in progress. So I was talking about some things, but I really wanted to get into how to really just show up for your business when you feel like you're all over the place. Because I feel like, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm in a mind block right now just because of certain things, how I want to move forward with certain things, and I'm in my business. I'm trying to figure out which way to go. Like, which way do I go? Hi, Pam. Yeah, I started over because I messed up on something, so I restarted it. Sorry, I didn't know you were there. So here I am. Thanks for watching live. So, when we're thinking about our businesses and how are your business, how when you're thinking about your business and I'm thinking mine, what way do you want to go and what path do you want to go in what direction? So, I really feel there's a lot of questions we have to ask ourselves in order to be in that consistent phase, in order to show up and have organization. We need to know certain things, how to move forward. So I always feel like one of my main pillars when we talk about our business that I've always felt I was comfortable and feeling like passionate about is doing what I'm doing right now, is sharing these tips that I learned through the online space and paying it forward to other women in social selling business, to give you tips and tricks, streaming in now into my closed group that I started about 2 or 3 years ago, really back then, not really knowing what the heck I was doing, but still wanted to have this passion of sharing this online space tips with other women because I knew I was struggling, how to present myself in a way I no longer wanted to be a spammer. I knew that there was other ways to present your business opportunity or your products to people. And you guys know I always talk about, the attraction marketing piece of it with Helen Martin. Um, I love to go to YouTube, and I'm streaming on YouTube right now because YouTube is my search engine. When people are looking for questions, I'm hoping I'm answering for people. And then and that was with Julie Reynolds. She's a known network marketer. She has a great network marketing YouTube course if you're interested in that. And then now working with Ashley and all the things I'm doing. So I feel like I'm blocked on what way to move on my pillars. So I want to share my pillars with you guys. And if you are stuck on your pillars on how to present yourself, well, let me know below and let's just help each other out. So before I want to share the apps that I share with you guys to be organized and have a plan, we need to know these certain things. You need to know how you want to show up, how often you're going to show up, and what your pillars are for your ideal client. So there's just like this whole big theme of what we need to know. Pam, I see you showing up very differently. I see you positive. I see you happy. I see you putting pretty pictures up of you. So I applaud you for doing it. Like I feel like you're doing great. And I think we all have our on days and off days, other things that can surround what we go through in our business when we have other personal things going on, or maybe work related, other things that play in line of our businesses. But I really think the main thing is the self-doubt in ourselves, where we lack that stuff, where we have that, where our mind, or we tell ourselves that yada yada. Okay, so I was listening to. I love to listen to different reels on Instagram. Her name is Leah somebody that my sister had told me about a long time ago, and I followed her. And one thing she said is to replace when you have that those mind blocks, is to replace it when that negative some words are coming out, for you to replace them with something positive and remind yourself, like, say whatever it is you were saying, because I know sometimes I say certain things to myself, and you have to stop yourself to say that, and then correct yourself right then and there, and say that positive word instead of that negative. And her name is Leah uh, D Arrow. It's Arrow with a D in front of it. She's a known. She is an entrepreneur. She is what is that, like? She's a speaker, so she's a very known speaker for. She does online businesses. She's very faithful. She has a whole podcast. She has just all kinds of things, and she's just very positive. And I followed one of her stories, ones that my sister told me about, and I've been following her ever since. And we're both the same faith base, so she's just very someone I like to follow. And I will drop her name in the comments if anyone wants to follow her on Instagram. But she does a lot of just a lot of positive things, and um, she helps me. I just like was going through just mind stuff today, and I saw her reel, and it just helped me. So like I want to help you guys too, because like Pam says, I'm struggling too. Okay, Pam, you can't go live. Lives aren't going to make now. I have an opinion about lives. Everyone has their own opinion about lives. Some people say you need to go live every day for you to be having a successful business. Some people say live. Like I hate my little thing. Lives and reels are not important for your business. It just depends. Where do you want to focus your business at? I do feel that we should show up for our business, like post daily, at least once a day, not hindering our phones, being trapped to this cell phone. Um, and I put her name in the comments, Pam, so you can find her on Instagram. And Pam, you don't have to go live. Hopefully, you're showing up in your stories, because I feel that stories are where it's really at. Um, but that's where your people are going to connect with you. Your ideal client's going to connect with you and know who you are, know what you're about, to make those connections, and then they may want to um, get your offer or join your opportunity, because they're getting to know you. But also displaying our posting. I'm not saying you have to do that every day. I'm not saying that. Lives used to make me happy place, and it's sad that I'm not able to do them right now, but I'll get back at them soon. And that's fine. But I see you posting, so that's great. So I never want to say you have to post every day or you have to go live every day. I hear a lot of different things on that from different mentors, different people in the business opportunity that I'm in. We talk about these things, but I say do whatever works for you, what makes you happy, what works in your schedule, and you just do that. Okay. Two things that are going to obviously help your business are making connections and messenger. And I'm not saying those hey girl messages, do you want to buy this or yada, have a sell. Making connections and getting to know people. And then when you feel like you get to know them, it's up to you if you want to present them with that question. Are they open to hearing about your opportunity, your products, whatever that language is for you? Okay, but making those connections is key for our business, and then asking those questions if you're wanting to do that. Also, stories or making those connections. Okay, so there are these little paths, but my whole thing, this whole process, what I want to talk about, how do you do that, and who do you know you're talking to? So when we show up, you decide. Pam says, I can't do lives right now. Okay, Pam, that's great, but you're still showing up, you're still posting. So ask yourself these things for your planning, and then we're going to talk about the organization. So you guys know I'm all about my Trello boards. I have a Trello board with all my captions weekly. Captions that I'm going to talk about, ideas I want to talk about. I have my whole YouTube planned on there, videos I want to do for the month. It's all on Trello because it's just where I can look on my phone for it. I can be on my laptop at home and plan out. Okay. So again, that was supposed to be my second part. Anyways, back up, Kristeena. So with your knowing your message on social, right? Okay, so Pam's saying, I'm not going live. Okay, but you're posting. That's great. I think you're doing your stories. That's great. Knowing who you're talking to, who that avatar is, your ideal client person. Who's that person? Who are they about? So knowing those pillars about yourself, who are you showing up for and how you're helping them. In this online space, we are solving problem solvers to someone's problem. We have the solution to what they're needing and whatever that is. I solve what problem, and that is what hopefully you're creating your content for your people, and then knowing who you're talking to, because we're not talking to everyone. When you're talking to people, your ideal client, it's when you know who that person is, your content information becomes easier for you to share. And then moving forward, and then knowing Pam's going to post so many days a week, 3 days a week. Pam's going to show up in her stories every day, maybe 5 times, or she has story slides or whatever that is. Okay. I think sometimes I felt like I had to go live, or I have to show up in my stories. I want to show up in my stories because that's where I make the connections. And I used to not talk in my stories. It was always just graphics or quotes or whatever. But how are people connecting with you or knowing who you are if you're not showing up in your stories and talking and getting people to know you, or even going live at least maybe once a week? And I'm not saying you have to, but this is the process of me, how people get to know you. It's that get to know you, like trust factor, for them to know what they may how they're relatable to you, and if what you have for them is a solution to them. Hi Monique, how are you? Okay, Pam, no worries. I have to watch the replay. Talk to Thank you so much for all you do to help us. No problem, Pam. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you were live for a little bit. So you figure out how much you want to show up on social. You figure out who your ideal client is. And if you don't know who your ideal client is, hopefully do that exercise for you to figure out who you're talking to. And if you need help with that, if you're someone new to my page, I have my resource link I'll share where all my different PDFs. You can get a PDF on calendar tips to help you plan out. You can get a PDF on your ideal client, for you to know who that avatar is, for you to create that content. Okay. So when you have all that down, so this first piece is show up how often you want to, how much you can, and this is for you, and presenting information to your ideal client with being a problem solver. Okay, we're problem solvers to people. And then so that's your consistency, right? And you having that plan. So knowing how can you do that? So I'm going to give you guys some apps that I use for my business to stay consistent, to stay organized, and have a planning system so I'm not all over the place. So some people, and I'm not knocking if you do this, you like to use printables, okay? Printable calendars. That's great, as long as you have some kind of calendar. For me, I'm in my online space, but I'm also a career as a school counselor. I'm not going to have this with me all day, okay? Because I'm going back to work next week. Oh my goodness. Anyhow, I'm going to be positive. It's going to be a great school year. I love my job, but then when you're in summer break, you're like, oh man, it's time to go back already. Where did summer break go? If you're an educator, just put some laughing emojis below. Whatever. Okay, so that's why I like to put the apps on my phone. So when I'm at work, one of my coworkers especially, is not on Facebook, and he loves to say side biz, and it's a hilarious joke down the hall, but everyone knows what Kristeena does. And that's okay, because my coworkers, they support me. They don't care. So if they see me on my phone in my office when I have a moment, when I'm not busy with work, or on at lunchtime, I'm on my apps doing what I need to do, because I still want to show up for my business. And that's how I still show up when people ask me, how do you have your career, have the kids, even though this when the kids were younger, they're older now, and still show up for your business, and you're consistent, because I plan and organize people. So these are the apps I want to share these ones with you. Um, I like to use my calendar, obviously. So I have my Google Calendar, and I write whatever. Like I had my Zoom today with my coach, Ashley. It's in my calendar. I'm gonna go live. It's in my calendar, and then I also obviously have like my personal stuff. So I know, like when my daughter has an appointment or whatever, um, it's in my calendar. So I'm working that. And if I have any work events when I get back to work, sometimes we have at times evening events that are sometimes sporadically throughout the year. I put them in my calendar, but in my calendar, I know when I have my meetings. I know, like, within my business, I do certain classes or people who help me network, and we have little sessions or little things that we talk over. I put it in my calendar. So my whole thing is use your calendar, whether it's your app on your phone or a printable, so you know what you're mapping out. It doesn't have to be for the whole month. It can be oh, in Canada you go back in September. Lucky you. When I was little, we used to go back in September. It was great. I'm assuming is that you, Pauline, that's in Canada? Or and then so we're going back as school counselors. Our teachers don't go back to the end of July, and then our students start early August. I knew that was you, Pauline. Thank you for being here. So you utilizing your calendar, okay? I already talked to you guys about Trello is life to me, but you can use your calendar. So just write it down when you want to map out your information for your business. How many people you're going to connect with. I don't know if you um, I don't know, like however you work your business. I don't like to say, um, like if you have classes for your clients, if you're coaching, maybe you have monthly groups, weekly groups in a small group, and you're doing some kind of class on teaching people something, whatever it is. Maybe you show up live once a week for your clients, your community. Okay, so that's why you want to have this on your calendar, and then having like what your topics are, why you might have a Trello. When you have your calendar, you don't have to do it for the whole month. You can just write it weekly if that works for you, just knowing what you're doing, thinking about what your captions are going to be about, thinking about what um, what day you're going to go live, if you go live, or how often you're going live. So this is how you stay organized. And when you make a plan and you write it down weekly, you're going to perhaps do it because you made a plan to finish it. Okay. And then I like to get ready for some of my to do my stories. There's some apps that I use, and the one that I recently got right now, it's called Story Chick. It is a paid one. You can only do it for 3 days free. One-on-one meetings, Zoom meetings, yes. Anything you're doing for your business, but you got to write it down in your calendar so you know when you're showing up. When is your availability for your prospects, for your clients, for your team? So Story Check is one that I like to use in stories that I just recently got. It is a paid one, but I want to give you guys a few that are not paid. You don't have to pay for. Now, I'm on an Apple phone now for the last year, so you can utilize Canva is one. They do have templates if you want to use those for stories. There's a Mojo, Unfold, and this one that I have is called Unistory. So I like to find the apps that have the story templates that are like for automation, so they're moving stories. So you get your people in your stories, like you are having them what's the word, attention, their attention, because people's attention spans like 3 seconds versus just one solid picture or solid quote or before and after just still in your story. But if you have them the automation story app, it's moving, so you have their alerts, all right, you have their attention. So that's why I decided to try the Story Check, because a few people in the this have talked about it. So that's another app that I recommend. And then planning and have this organization when you know what you're going to talk about. I don't know if you have to pre-record some stories, if you have to do before and afters, talking stories, whatever it is. And when you record and plan, even if you are someone who does reels, I'll throw that in here. Plan that too. You can do 4 reels in one day, and when you get, if you want to, and have them for the week. I feel sometimes I'm in my stories, like I'm losing the moment to be with my daughter or with my younger nieces and my nephew, that I'm not in the moment with them. Sometimes I just told myself that the other day, and I want to be in the moment with them. I want to be in the moment with the family where I'm like, no, oh my God, I need to record this or I need to show this. And I'm not saying not to, but I want to be in that moment. Um, so I wanted to take a step back a little bit from stories for a few days, maybe about a week or two now, like I'm still in my stories, but some of it it's not always at that moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta take that picture or do that story. So I'm trying to pre-record stuff on my camera roll. I have, if I want to show my lovely nieces and my nephew because they're little, my kids are older, I have pictures or things that I get, through the weekend or the week, and I might share it later. I just was felt like it was always in that moment, and I want to have those moments back, and I had to take a step back and see that. So when you plan that story content so you have it, and then you're ready to upload it in your camera roll when you know what you want to talk about. So like let's say if you have something new, a new product coming, like we're having a new product coming at the end of the month. So I can get content ready for that. So I can put it in my stories and make sure I have it in my stories, especially the week of or the week prior. If people are interested, you're going to get them ooh and ah about it. Especially with being back at work, I want to have a planning system, which I feel like I'm pretty good at. So in the morning, if you're someone who is working, then you already have your stuff planned. You have your apps, you know what apps you're using, you have your pre-recorded short videos, and you just load them. So that's another thing is when are you going to load your information? Are you going to do it early in the morning? Are you going to get up 15 minutes early before work and load your stories? Or are you going to do it at night? And that's totally up to you. And when we're at work, we don't always have time, obviously, to go, show our stories in that moment. And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of flexible with my job because I'm a school counselor. I'm not in a classroom all day with students. I'm in my own office. I go on campus at my leisure. So it just depends like what I'm doing, like to show like behind the scenes at my job because I want to show women that they can have an online business and a career. We're in our careers, but an online business with a career, like it's possible because I do it. So that's why I want to show it. But in order to do that, you have to plan and be consistent and know what you're showing up for. So it's all those questions you have to ask yourself that I talked about. Who you're showing up for, your ideal client, what are your content, what are your pillars, like what are you talking about? Planning those captions, planning your ideas of how you're going to do that. So you might be asking questions like, well, Kristeena, I don't know who my ideal client is. I don't know about what to do for my content. I just saw a question. I think it's Pauline. How do you write captions? Do you write them ahead of time and follow a template? Okay, great question. So I have a few videos on YouTube, Pauline, and there's one I recently did that's how to create captions. So your question though is I plan ahead. So it's a whole process, guys. When you know what you want to talk about, then you sit there in that moment. So some people like to plan out their content or their captions ahead, and I'm not saying that, and I do it weekly. But let's say like I'm like, okay, Monday I know. So this is the why it's easier for me, and you guys might hear me talk about it all the time, is like I go by themes. I do my content planning by themes so I know what my topic is every day. Now, do I always stick to it? No, because life happens. I might want to share something else, but for the most part, I stick to the contents. So with my captions, Pauline, when I know my five pillars, right? My five pillars that go within my five themes or seven themes for the weekend. Then I create my captions. So, like today, I posted, if you guys didn't see, a picture from last year with me and the kids when we went on vacation. It's like we left, I believe, today a year ago. I just knew in my mind for me Thursdays is Throwback Thursday. So what do I want to talk about Throwback Thursday? Because I love to share my story of restarting my life over in my career, being a single mom and the kids were younger. I like to talk about changing, going back to school or just recently changing my company. Those are throwback stories that I'm telling my audience, my ideal client, stories about me to get to know me. So I stick to Throwback Thursday, and I remembered when those memories come up on, you know, in my camera or Facebook, long story, but it was our trip. So I uploaded some pictures from last year, and I just, whatever I wrote, I don't remember what I wrote, but I talked about those captions that I knew it was a year ago that we went on a trip. We didn't go anywhere this year. Well, me and my daughter did it. My son actually went to California, same place with their dad's family. He just got back today. But we didn't do anything, and it's because I'm doing other things. Like I'm getting my fence fixed this summer. So I told the kids, we ain't doing anything this summer. So that's how I'm able to do my captions, Pauline. I found those pictures. I knew it was Throwback Thursday. I found my pictures. Okay, what do I want to say? It just comes to me. I guess because I've been doing it for a little bit. but I already know what I'm doing. Like, I already know what I'm talking about. I know my pillars, I know my themes for the week. I knew what pictures I wanted to use. So when you organize, I feel like it comes easy to you, like, well, what's this message that I'm saying about these pictures from a year ago? And you just say your message like you're talking to someone, right? Okay, like I do Thankful Thursdays, so for themes, so each day, so talk about that and be prepared about that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So two things, Pauline, you probably already seen these two videos on YouTube if you need that, and I'll put the um, my YouTube channel in the links below. You might not say, well, I don't know about content, Kristeena. I don't know what you're talking about themes. I have a whole video on how to plan your content with themes. So that video is on YouTube. And there's one I did a few weeks ago. It's on how to create captions. And I talk about what you need for you to get your audience's attention, like the whole thing on that. So those videos are there. And all that is on YouTube free for you guys. Okay. So I hope this helped you guys. I think it helped me feel better, to be honest, because I was kind of in a stuck mode. But to be consistent and to have organization is we need to plan for well, I'm not saying we need to. I need to. You can do what you want. I encourage you to do it. You're welcome, Pauline. Um, I feel like I've been saying the same message over a few weeks, but I feel like there's just so much to say with it. And there's a way to take a step back when we feel stuck in our business, when we feel like I'm all over the place. It's because two things: you're not being consistent, um, you're not planning and organizing your business, and perhaps you don't know who you're talking to. When we know all that, everything else falls into place. So if you need any of that, again, I'm going to put my resource link below for the content on Ideal Client and a content calendar of ideas for you. And it's an updated one. I also added like real stuff. I think just putting reels on there. I don't remember what I did. I broke the calendar down into themes. That's what I did. When I created the calendar the first time was a few years ago. I wasn't doing themes. Now that I'm doing themes, I kind of wanted to pay it forward so you guys could see a visual. So that's on my content calendar, the resource tab, and then my ideal client avatar, where I paid a training and the coach gave us this whole system. And I'm like, oh my God, this makes sense. So I paid it forward and just made a little generic PDF on my own for you to just do an exercise to know who you're talking to. So when you know that, and then do the video on content pillars, how to do your themes, you will understand that. And then the captions, as I think those are some good videos. How to create captions for your business, or they're all on YouTube. So I'll put my YouTube link there and my resource tab for whatever PDF you may need. So you guys, I hope this helps. I never mean to go this long on my lives, but I just feel like I'm talking. You guys are live with me. I feel so happy to help you guys. And you're welcome, Pauline. You're welcome. You guys take care. God bless. If you got value from this video, put value below. And I love to say, hit that button, let your friends know. So take care. God bless. Next week, God willing, I will come live next week. I go back to work on Monday and I still want to show up on Thursdays. This was a random time because I didn't schedule it with my group, and I just, life happens. Anyways, guys, take care. Bye. Thanks for watching live. Peace out.